So today's video is gonna be all about interviews. Yes. So you know that moment when that message enters your inbox and it says, congratulations, you have been invited to an interview with the committee for your scholarship, and you're like, hello everybody, welcome to Ninja Inspiration. I'm so happy again today to be bringing you a new video. Before we start, thank you for coming to Ninja Inspiration. Again, this is a channel that I built to share tips and information all related to scholarship to young people that are motivated and that are ready to start their scholarship journey. So if you're ready to start this journey with me, click like on this video, subscribe to this channel so you can get notification every week of my new videos, and also follow me on Ninja Inspiration on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you. Today's video is going to be focused on scholarship interviews and how to best prepare for one. The tips that I have for you today, I hope will be very useful. As you know, I have been making different videos and I have a playlist of everything related to scholarship called Scholarship 101 playlist that I have on my channel. You can find it on the link you're going to see you're gonna see here above, and on this playlist you can find videos related to scholarships, websites to look for, and now I'm making a video more related to the interview process, so like the next phase of the interview. And if you're also interested in videos related to language learning, I also have another playlist for that you can find here, and you can watch. So I hope that with today's video you're going to learn some few tips from me, just based on my experience from reading online and also from experiences from other students who have done interviews and how they were able to nail the interviews and eventually get the scholarship award. So you know that moment when that message enters your inbox and it says, congratulations, you have been invited to an interview with the committee for your scholarship, and you're like super happy because you actually made it. After sending many recommendation letters, after writing an amazing essay letter, after sending your motivation, after sending everything you have to send, your English test level and every other things you have to send, finally the moment you get to be interviewed by the scholarship committee. But on the other hand, you're also nervous because you're like, this is my chance. I don't want to blow this opportunity. This is my chance to shine, and this is my opportunity to show who I am and for them to really give me that scholarship. Well, you're here because you want to know what tips to use when you want to ace your scholarship interview. Congratulations, first of all, for making it to that phase where you're actually getting interviewed. And this is a phase where you should feel really relaxed. That's the number one tip. Be relaxed, because this is the moment you want to show the scholarship committee, the judges, that you deserve to be awarded the scholarship. So you've been relaxed in that process. Going into that interview, you have to be in a mental state of like, I deserve this and I can do this. So my tip for you is to prepare for the interview. Well, these people, they know you based on your scholarship application, they know your recommendation letter, they have read your essay, they know what you want to study and why you want to study, but they want to know more about you. So in this process, you have to prepare your answers very well. And you can do this by actually writing down a list of questions that you think they might ask you in the interview. And for this, I've come up with a list of questions that I think they would normally ask in interviews, no matter what organization is asking you the questions. It might differ, of course, depending on the program you're applying to and depending on your field of studies. But in general, these are the questions they tend to ask you in an interview. So the number one question they might ask you about is, tell us about yourself. This is the question most of us dread the most, because it's one of the hardest actually, because it's hard to really explain who you are in maybe 2 minutes or 5 minutes, right? But think about this question, that it's the opportunity for you to express what you really care about, what are the activities you've been involved with, and what are the things you really like to do, but in a way that makes you share the qualities they would like to know. For example, that you're a leader, you work in social projects, or you've studied this YXZ and this has allowed you to gain such and such skills. So this tell us about yourself. It's a really, the good chance for you to just explain who you are as a person, your values, your mission. And what I think is really crucial is for you, when you explain who you are, how does this connect to the organization you're applying to? If it's a foundation, if it's an international scholarship, or it's a bilateral scholarship, whatever scholarship it is, even if it's for a university, when you talk about yourself, kind of find a middle ground, like a one-line sentence to explain how, this scholarship aligns with you as a person. That would really boost your answer. Also remember, this tell us about yourself question is your elevator pitch. So prepare it very well, practice a lot of time so that you have it in the perfect way, but don't also over rehearse, because you have to also make it a bit spontaneous, a bit natural, so that it flows when you talk about it to them, and just show passion when you speak. That way, when you tell them about yourself, they're engaged, it's interesting, and they feel motivated to hear whatever it is you're going to say throughout the rest of the interview. Another question they might ask you is, tell us about your project or what you want to study. The organization might ask, tell us more about this master's you want to do and why you decided to choose this master, or what made you decide to go for studies like this. This is a perfect moment for you to shine and tell them how your personal experiences and your professional experiences align perfectly with this master's you're trying to take, and why the skills you're going to learn in the specific master's will allow you to study, will allow you to work in the field you want to work in the future. And a very important question they might also ask you is, why have you chosen this university, or why have you chosen this school, or why have you chosen even this country? So for example, there's some scholarship that they fund you to study abroad, maybe in the US or in the UK or in Spain or in Germany, anywhere in the world, and then they ask you why this specific country. So the way you can go about this question is actually thinking about the university. Well, the university that I want to go is the number one in this field, and this university happens to be located in the US, for example, so I have to go to the US. And also because, for example, going to the US allows me to gain a list of skills and opportunities, either academic or professional, networking, that I could never get in my home country or in any other place in the world. So I have to go to this place, and you have to make it feel like that's the only solution and that's the only way possible to go through. Because if you don't make it feel that way, they're like, well, it could be anywhere. They want to know why that university and why you want to go there and what you intend to do. And that leads me to the next question. The typical question they ask is that, where do you see yourself in the next 2 years, 5 years, or what do you want to do in the future? Many a times, as a young person, you're like, I don't even know what I want to do. I'm just, trying to study first and then figure out my passions. But most of the time when they ask you this question, you should not show that you don't know. I mean, it's good to be honest, of course, but you also have to show that you're already thinking about the future. And an easy way, a friend told me about this because I was kind of freaking out for my own interview that I've been having in the past month for different programs I want to do. And I was thinking, if they asked me, what do you want to do in the next 5 years? Well, I don't know. But she told me to think about it this way. Think about it okay, if your master's program is going to be maybe 2 years, at least you know that in the next 2 years, you're going to be studying a master's program. And that's already what you're going to be doing. So in those 2 years, you want to focus all your energy on study. And after you're done with the program, well, the next 3 years, 5 years to come, you want to work with XYZ organizations. So if you're interested in, let's say, international affairs, like someone like me, you know that, okay, you want to work for the UN. But don't, just mention these buzzwords or these big organizations, because it's kind of easy. Sometimes the organizations you're applying for the scholarship, they want to see how specific you are and what exactly they want to do in the UN. The UN has a lot of agencies and a lot of organizations, right? So where specifically do you see yourself in the UN? Where specifically do you see yourself in terms of a country you want to work in? What region? What specialization do you want to have? You want to work in developing countries? Is it Africa? Is it the Caribbean? Is it Asia? And why do you want to go work in that region? What is your interest? What exactly attracts you to that? So with this, you can kind of justify where you see yourself in the next 5 years. And what I always say is you have to be ambitious. Aim for the sky. Be ambitious and say, you want to be the next director of XYZ organization, because you feel like with this master's, you will have the skills to actually get there. And be humble, of course, but be ambitious so that, they can also see that you're aiming high and that you're going to use this master for the best purpose out there. An obvious question they're going to ask you, of course, is, why should you be selected for this scholarship? Why you and not someone else? Well, in this situation, it's sort of you being able to explain your experiences and what makes you unique. So in this case, before even going to the interview, you have to prepare ahead and see the list of your strengths and what you're good at. This might involve you asking your friends questions or asking your professors or people that are close to you to tell you, if you don't really know your strength, okay, try to analyze yourself. What are you good at, and how does this connect to what you want to study, and why you're the person that is ideal to undertake the studies, and that them investing in you. This is a crucial point. When you apply for scholarship, you have to remember that it's like an investment. They're like basically investors, the organization. They're investing in your future, putting some money into your future so that you in the future can also bring some return back either to the organization or to the society as a whole. So this is where your social activities, your entrepreneurial programs, or whatever it is you've done that is extracurricular really plays a big role, because then you can explain to them, well, up to now, with all the little opportunities I've had, I've been able to do X, Y, Z, and I've been able to achieve some level of success or even failures, and I've learned from that. And if you choose someone like me that has this X, Y, Z experience, I will be able to use the experience to also enrich my university, enrich the cohort as a whole, enrich my classes. And at the end of the day, I want to achieve this goal, and I know that you as an organization supporting me will also allow you to move forward towards the goals you also want to achieve. So for example, if the organization's value is related, for example, the Fulbright program, it's really related to kind of like connecting young leaders from one country to the USA. So you can see that me as a person, I can be the perfect ambassador for your program. I'm someone who has experience in this and this, and you choosing me as the ambassador for your program, I'll be able to really connect well with the people because I have this experience and that experience. So whatever you say, you have to show examples of how you would do it and how you've done it in the past. This kind of like brings some credibility to what you're saying. This next question is not really typical, but actually you never know. It depends on the organization. They might want to know more about you and like your personality and the way you kind of like face obstacles. So they might ask you, what's your biggest achievement, or the other way around, what's your biggest failure? What did you learn from that? And how are you gonna, put those learnings into your master's program and then, your future career. So this is the perfect opportunity for you to be also humble, be vulnerable with them, but in a way that shows you strength. So for example, if they tell you what's your biggest mistake, well, reflect on the things that you've had to overcome. It could be financial obstacles, it could be family matters, it could be anything that you consider would be relevant for you to use as an answer for this type of questions. Just think about what are difficulties you've had and how you were able to overcome those problems, and really go through those experiences and highlight the one that you think that would bring the most valuable answer. And when you talk about your achievements, I'm sure that if you got to a process like this and you've gone through this stage, it's because you have some achievements. So you can just tell them your achievement and then tell them what you've learned from that and how that has equipped you to be a better person, a better student, and then that would also lead to your success in the program you're about to do. So those are the questions I've kind of like thought about when it relates to the questions and being prepared before going to the interview. Another tip that I think is really crucial is for you to practice all these questions you've prepared, or other ones your friends might suggest or your professor might suggest, with people from your field. So this is really important. Don't just do your mock interview with like random friends. Sometimes it helps, yeah, but you want to do it with people that can give you like feedback that are going to be useful. And this tends to be people that are from your field, or people that have been maybe in part of a committee selection process, or people that already have experience in listening to candidates explain their ideas. So try to find someone in your group of friends or family member or professor that you have a relationship with, that is able to give you like sincere, like direct suggestions and advice, so that you can correct anything that is not nice in your mock interview. And also ask them about your intonation, ask them about the volume, the way you speak, ask them about the answers you're providing. Are they articulate enough? Do they make sense? Is what you're saying answering the question the interviewer is asking you, or you're just talking about something else because you were just not ready? Try to also put yourself to the limit and like push yourself hard, so that the interview process, the mock interviews, will prepare you so well for the interview that when you're actually doing the interview, it just feels like you're having a conversation with a friend. So another tip that I have for you is actually that think about the interview as like talking to a friend, but in a professional sense. Of course, having that thought like this is my friend makes you feel a bit more relaxed and releases your tension and your nerves. But also thinking about this as a professional interview makes you feel like, okay, I have to give good answers, straightforward answers, and answers that really show my strength rather than my weaknesses. So my other tip is related to you asking questions. So you know that when you're about to reach the end of the interview, the committee or the judges will tend to ask you like, do you want to ask us like any questions, or do you have any, questions in mind? And most people tend to shy away from this moment and like, oh my god, I'm just done, I just want to be done, let me go away, I don't want to talk anymore, I don't want to say anything negative for my application. But no, this is actually the moment you can shine again. So think about this moment like maybe they didn't ask you some specific questions you would have preferred them to ask you, and then you can think, okay, now that they want to hear from me, this is my time to also direct my questions to them, and for them to also get to know about me more through the questions they never said in the interview process. So I think that's something you can ask them as a committee is basically, okay, I've read this on your website and I know this about your organization, but for you, what exactly does the committee want to see in ideal candidates, right? You can kind of like ask them that, so you can kind of like hint if you already did the interview well or you didn't. Another thing that I always do at the end of my interviews is to sort of like make a last sentence that summarizes the ideas that I've already said in my answers, but also unite it with the core values of the organization. So for example, when I finish my interview, then I say, oh, can you please give me like a minute to say something really quickly, and then you smile and you say like, after reading the organization's mission and values and what I want to do in XYZ in international affairs really relates to the value of this organization, and I believe that a candidate like me with such and such experience would be would be an additional value, a competitive advantage to this organization, and I believe that I will be a great ambassador for this program and uphold the values and the mission of this organization. So something really short, really nice, that kind of like give them the last feel of who you are and why you want this scholarship. If you're also curious, you can actually ask them about, once you get the scholarship, you can also say, oh wow, if I actually get, selected as a candidate, I would like to know what other resources or like mentorship this scholarship offers, and what type of, opportunities I could also learn from once I'm a part of this organization. That is a very good way to express your interest in learning more. And something that I think is also crucial is talking about the network of previous scholars. So you want to be like, well, I've also been reading about the other scholars that got a scholarship in the previous years, and I see that most of the work they do aligns with what I want to do or what I'm doing right now, and this is one of the things that I like the most about the scholarship is the network of students and how we can learn together and grow together as friends and as professionals. So this kind of like shows that you're also not interested in the scholarship just for the money, which of course is reason why most of us want the scholarship to get this funding, but you want to show them that you care about the human interaction and the fact that once you become part of this scholarship cohort, you also care about the people there and you want to bring value to them, and they can also bring value to you. And my last tip, last but not the least, it's regarding your physical presence. So like your mannerisms and the behaviors you have that you don't really realize, your gestures. So when you're in an interview, nowadays most of them tend to be online because of the current pandemic situation, but either it be being online or like in person, I feel that your physical presence says a lot. So even before a person interviews you, they have like these 2 seconds, let's say, to sort of like analyze you as a person. So the first thing you want to show them is your smile. Really, like you want to smile, because smiling changes the whole mood, and it sets the pace for how the interview is going to be. So you just starting an interview with like big smile, high energy, that also kind of like sends a message to the interviewers that you're ready for this, you're passionate about this, and you're ready to show your best. So you just smiling really is a good thing to do, because it also like calms you down. Don't fake the smile, let it be real and organic, but just smile and think of something that makes you happy. One of my mentors told me this, think about a memory that makes you happy before you start the interview, and when you think about that, that makes you automatically smile, and once you enter the interview, you're smiling, and everybody is happy, and you already have a point, let's say. I don't want to take much time on this tip because I think it's quite, obvious, but when you go to the interview, you want to dress smart, you want to look nice, you don't want to look rough or like tired or in a way that is not presentable. So, just take some time before the interview, to get ready and dress appropriately for the interview. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in today. I hope the video was interesting and useful. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time on Ninja Inspiration every week with new videos. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.